Good day, ladies and gents. Welcome back and Happy New Year. First things first, if you're a new listener, stop listening to this and go back to the very first episode. This will both spoil a lot of my story and also heavily confuse and probably repel you from listening to the whole thing. But if you're one of my regulars, this should be a nice refresher. Also, because this is a rehash of my rewrite, I'm going to use simple screenshots that will be all the thumbnails I've used up until now. Second things second, I didn't cover the purpose of the databooks during the Forest of Death. Forgot about it. Whoops. But I won't be covering that this time. Today has a different purpose. I was going to plunge into phase 2.5 with this episode, however the new year felt like a good time to recap. I'd like to summarize all the events of my rewrite up to now. At the turn of the new year, it definitely makes the most sense. This will recap my various arcs so far, as well as a few changes that I've made to techniques. Hopefully, if you've been away or if you're struggling to remember the smaller details, you can use this video for a reminder. I'll cover what I've done in chronological order. We'll start with the changes I've made to history. Then I'll cover some changes to techniques. Then I'll cover the various arcs. We of course started with their training exercises. After that, each team saw their first mission. There was then some disputes amongst the teams and across the rock and fire borders. Following this was a small wind down leading straight into the Chunin exams. Here we've completed so far phases 1 and 2, eagerly waiting for phase 2.5. And I must stress that these are vast generalizations of what actually occurred. So much of the meat is being left out. So let's jump from the generalities into some of the major moments. Starting first with changes to history. Big thanks to Croatian Man, or Stammering Sam in the Discord server, for compiling a hard and fast summary of episode 1. Most significant for the immediate events are that the Second Ninja War never ended. We're still in it. So the war that gave the Sannin their title is the same one going on in current events. It's been decades. It's had cool moments where the fighting has died down, but there hasn't been peace to officially end it. Other important differences include that Hashirama Senju died in his ultimate duel against Madara Uchiha, who also died in their stalemate. Tobirama would go on to form the Uchiha Police and the Anbu. The Uchiha were decidedly against Madara's ideals and found peace after his death. The Anbu now consist of 30 elite ninja from the village. Each newfound talent replaces the weakest of these 30. The Uchiha and the Hyuga also do not get along. Hyuga value the Hokage and village beyond all else, while the Uchiha value their own clan the most. The Uzumaki clan were not wiped out in some vague extermination. Instead, they are a wandering, nomadic clan that is neutral to most nations. Conversely, the Namikaze clan is well known and extraordinarily small. The Flying Thunder God is now a Hiden technique of this family, rather than an adopted ability from Tobirama to Minato. During this Second Ninja War, there are certain similarities to canon. Orochimaru still leaves the village, but this time due to disagreements with Sarutobi, rather than being caught for breaking rules. The Kanabi Bridge is still destroyed. Nagato still has the Rinnegan, but he did not receive it from Obito/Madara, rather from a mysterious other. Obito Uchiha also dies for real as a kid, but still donates his one eye to Kakashi. The village hidden in the mist still weaponizes Rin Nohara with the three-tailed bijou. However, when she dies, Minato extracts the bijou and eventually places it into an unknown ninja of Konoha. This unknown is one of the Konoha 12. After losing its beast so sloppily, the mist stops its fighting against the Land of Fire. Truly a shameful display. Hanzo and Danzo form an alliance of convenience and commit war crimes. To this end, Danzo even captures and offers a Hyuga as a show of trust. Both attempt and fail to take the Rinnegan from Nagato. Every offer of peace to stop the fighting from the Land of Fire is refused by the Land of Rock. Meanwhile, an equally intense war is continued between the Mist and the Cloud. Both geographically and politically disconnected from the fighting, the Sand remains neutral in the ongoing conflict, completely uninvolved. The third Hokage names Minato as the fourth, but does not step down right away. This creates a fissure of power that Danzo uses to foment distrust in the third Hokage. This distrust dissolves when the third sacrifices his life to keep the fox at bay when it's freed during Naruto's birth. While Minato is pursuing the unknown assailant, Kushina uses the Reaper Death Seal to transfer the Kyuubi into Naruto. With Sarutobi's passing, Orochimaru returns to the village and the Sannin unite to help Minato lead it. When the Cloud sends ninja to attack the Hyuga, Hiyashi sacrifices himself in the ensuing demands. This makes Hizashi, Neji's father, the actual clan head and new leader of the main branch. Some members of the Uchiha grow suspicious of Danzo's possible connection to Uchiha deaths. When they confront and attack Danzo, he's forced to use and in some cases lose all of the eyes on his arm, but keeps the one in his head. Though he survives the assassination attempt, he is imprisoned. Despite this, the Root Anbu still follow his ideals and orders. Not much is known about them yet. The Uchiha massacre still happens, leaving a small handful alive who weren't present for the incident. Itachi and Shisui are both killed in this very same massacre. All slain Uchiha have had their eyes stolen. As a result, Sasuke is not obsessed with revenge on his brother and has grown to dislike his surviving clanmates. He reports their suspicious activity to the Hokage when he can. Naruto is therefore raised by Minato and Jiraiya and has great talent as a result. However, he is still hated by villagers for being responsible for the third's valiant death among the other deceased. This is not the same lovable Naruto that we know from canon. On to changes to jutsu. Scrolls. Scrolls can contain nearly any jutsu, save for the most powerful, most complex kinds. However, the more powerful the jutsu, the shorter the lifespan of the scroll. A fireball could last a week or two, but a Rasengan could only last a couple days. Meanwhile, something like the Rasen Shuriken wouldn't work at all, as it's just too strong. Chakra is also unique, but somewhat similar amongst family. Naruto might be able to use one of his dad's scrolls, but it would be a flip of a coin for success. This is why Naruto can use his dad's special kunai, despite the fact that they're assigned to his chakra signal. So if someone stole a scroll from Naruto and tried to use it, it would either fizzle or blow up in their face. Most ninja will use scrolls for escape tactics rather than offensive action, but the less experienced will lean toward offensive jutsu choices. Substitution jutsu no longer exists due to logical inconsistencies. When any type of clone jutsu is used, the user cannot swap places with any of the clones. They must be sneakier when it comes to blending in with their clones. There's also a distinct difference in clone types. The basic clone jutsu is a genjutsu and is easiest to perform. It can have applications for all skill levels, but uses the least amount of chakra and concentration. The advanced clone jutsu is a ninjutsu and covers the elemental clones. Elemental clones are physical and can act independent of the user. When they're defeated or dispelled, they discharge their element as an additional offense. The user does not retain memories from defeated clones, and they have limited independent thought. Finally, the most complex clone jutsu is a taijutsu, and it is the Shadow Clone. This was to make taijutsu more involved in the entire ninja toolkit and to help make distinct the complexity of clone types. Shadow clones are very much the same as in canon. Tied to this are the 8 inner gates. This toolkit is now a type of taijutsu. Chakra control has no bearing on one's ability to use the 8 inner gates, yet it enhances their chakra output. For me, it was a natural addition to the taijutsu branch of jutsu. However, I should clarify a small change. The 8 inner gates do not augment your chakra output, rather they augment your chakra efficiency. This was simply because I disagree with the idea that everyone's walking around with unreal chakra stored inside. Instead, if their efficiency is exponentially increased, they could still perform insane feats of equal measure, but you're not suddenly working with world-ending chakra supplies. Taijutsu has several stances or schools of martial arts. These are the crane branch, meant to halt an enemy by pinning them or attempt a submission hold. There's the fox branch, that's meant for efficient energy use by turning the opponent's strikes back on them whenever possible. There's the tiger stance, that is a hard and fast offensive style for quick killing. Finally, the wolf stance, that's meant to fight with others by your side. This stance has combination strikes. On to the eyes! The Uchiha and Hyuga have unique properties. Their blood and chakra augments what's normally regular. If an Uchiha loses an eye in battle and later gets a normal eye to replace it, their chakra will slowly convert that eye into a Sharingan. Same rules apply to the Hyuga. This isn't a fast process, sometimes taking years to see fruition. It was meant to counterbalance the idea of people stealing Sharingan and Byakugan and getting full benefits, despite not having the bloodline. For the Sharingan specifically, it can now literally copy jutsu. However, their Tomo count exactly decides how many jutsu one can copy at a time. If you have 2 Tomo between both eyes, that's just 2 copied jutsu. A copied jutsu does not require hand seals to release, but it does still require chakra. The Sharingan can no longer see through jutsu, though they can still create it. It is an Ido jutsu meant for mastery of the physically seen world, while the Byakugan masters the unseen world of chakra. It still grants instinctive reaction times and even a few seconds of future sight for those who are advanced enough. For the Mangekyo, it can store 1 complex jutsu per eye. Remember what I said before about the Rasa and Shuriken not working with scrolls? Well, complicated jutsu like that will work with the Mangekyo. It's unrealistic to copy the world's most complex jutsu in a basic Sharingan Tomo. However, if these abilities are restricted to the Mangekyo eyes, it allows a more even spread of power. The unique powers of the Mangekyo remain, but these powers are singular and belong to the person, not the eye. What this means is Itachi might be able to do Amaterasu, but he couldn't also do Izanagi, Izanami, or even necessarily Susanoo. If another Uchiha stole Itachi's eyes, they would not suddenly be able to do Amaterasu, as that is an ability unique to Itachi the person. Instead, a different unique ability would develop for that person. This remains true for non-Uchiha. If someone got their hands on a Mangekyo Sharingan and wasn't an Uchiha, it would grant an ability unique to them. However, if the Sharingan hasn't developed into a Mangekyo yet, then the non-Uchiha can't evolve it into a Mangekyo. Blindness is no longer a threat of overuse. However, there is still an Eternal Mangekyo. The Eternal Mangekyo can only exist within the Uchiha. If someone stole an Eternal Mangekyo, it would devolve into a normal Mangekyo unless they were also an Uchiha. The Eternal Mangekyo is granted not by taking your sibling's eyes, but by taking any clanmate's eyes. This is a translation mistake made by the Uchiha themselves when reading the Uchiha tablet. They think it means sibling when in fact it actually means clanmate, anybody that shares your blood. The Eternal Mangekyo also grants 1 additional unique ability over and above what the normal Mangekyo does. On to the Byakugan. It is immune to most types of Genjutsu. Gentle Palm now works in 2 different ways. It seals chakra points to shut down an opponent. It also absorbs chakra natures so that the user can adapt to and realize the element. The Byakugan can now see colors of chakra, and it is expected for all members of the Hyuga to attain all 5 chakra elements before reaching Jonin rank. This was an attempt to make both the Byakugan and Sharingan relevant to what the Rinnegan is. My Byakugan also has an evolution, like the Sharingan. This is called the Hageshi Byakugan. Its activation requirements are not yet known. Known to me, but not to you. Not even to the characters. Once unlocked though, the Hageshi permanently turns on the Byakugan with no chakra drain, but its range slowly expands indefinitely. This gradual growth to the infinite causes a serious threat of sensory overload, which can easily lead to one ending themselves. However, due to its ever-growing power, the user becomes able to see jutsu forming within the body before a hand seal even takes place. In a sense then, they can see things before they happen, but it's technically not future sight. Like the Uchiha, the Hyuga had a tablet containing the secrets to unlocking this ability, but due to unknown reasons, the tablet has been lost to time. Finally, the Rinnegan. The Rinnegan has two types. The basic type that Nagato walks around with in canon, and the Sharinnegan, what Hagoromo gave to Sasuke in canon. This is no longer unlocked from some crazy amalgamation of Hashirama's face on Madara's chest. Instead, it is attained from total mastery of either the Byakugan or Sharingan. Now I understand this sounds like an easy thing to then attain, but no living Hyuga has any idea that their eye even has a next level, and due to the Uchiha massacre, its survivors aren't exactly willing to kill each other for their eyes. It's going to take some real investigation just to find out how to properly master their respective dojutsu. When it comes to the Rinnegan's types, the Sharinnegan is what any Mangekyo would evolve to, and the basic Rinnegan in canon is mostly what the mastered Byakugan would become, but perhaps still with the veins along the temples. Finally, I've added Shadow Style to elemental types. For you Naruto nerds out there who are confused, let me clarify what this means. Yin and Yang translate respectfully into shadow and light, but at no point in canon does anyone ever do a hand seal and shout Shadow Style or Yin Style. That's because Yin and Yang in Naruto are more of a concept or classification behind complex jutsu. So I've introduced Shadow Style as a legitimate style that's used often. This encompasses shadow clones, as well as the Nara clan's Hiden technique. It's generally considered more complex than the other elements and far harder to master. As such, only older, experienced ninja can generally use it, or those of Kage level. Certain clans like the Nara are exceptions to the rule. Now onto the story's start. I changed the teams pretty substantially, and there's a reason behind every single choice. I wanted a balance of sensory types with disablers and bruisers. Bruisers are basically the Rock Lees, Narutos, and Sasukes of the world. Team 10 became Might Guy, Rock Lee, Ino Yamanaka, and Kiba Inuzuka. Rock Lee the Bruiser, Kiba Inuzuka the Censor, and Ino Yamanaka the Specialist. Their personalities all tend towards confidence, and we'll see how this evolves through the story. Team 9 became Kurenai, Sakura Haruno, Choji Akimichi, and Shino Aburame. Sakura Haruno the Specialist, Choji Akimichi the Bruiser, and Shino Aburame the Censor. Their personalities all tend toward quiet and reserved, though we've already seen distinct differences from their canon counterparts. Team 8 became Asuma Sarutobi, Tenten, Hinata Hyuga, and Naruto Uzumaki. Tenten the Bruiser, Hinata Hyuga the Censor, Naruto Uzumaki the Specialist. This team didn't necessarily match up in personality. However, that's because Tenten has practically nothing for character development in canon, so she's a wild card for me. Hinata is in love with Naruto, so she's meant to serve as a foil to Naruto's innate distrust of other people. However, this Naruto is different from his canon half. He's not as easily endearing and approaches situations fundamentally differently. Team 7 became Kakashi Hatake, Sasuke Uchiha, Neji Hyuga, and Shikamaru Nara. Sasuke Uchiha the Bruiser, Neji Hyuga the Censor, Shikamaru Nara the Specialist. This team was decided on specifically by Minato as the elites of their grade. It separated the Ino Shikacho generational team, which caused a slight schism at first, and I don't think we've seen the end of this yet. It was also an attempt to encourage teamwork between the Hyuga and Uchiha. At first it was a tough combination, but we've seen substantial growth already from this team since its formation. They would then go on to training. Here, most passed the varying alterations of the training exercise. Might Guy challenges his genin to use any method necessary to hit him just once, in any way. Kurenai tells her team that they need only find her before masking herself behind a pile-up of genjutsu. Asuma expects his team to be able to avoid damage, but if all three are hit by him, they fail. He of course dons kid gloves for that exercise. Kakashi has the classic bell challenge. Might Guy and Kurenai's teams pass their challenges. However, Asuma defeats Hinata and Tenten only to watch Naruto flee and abandon them. Naruto reasons that avoiding getting hit by any means necessary would still mean a successful mission. Asuma is of course annoyed that Naruto would so easily abandon his team just for a chance at success. Kakashi is met with a unique challenge of Sasuke and Neji turning to attack each other. This results in the team failing miserably, followed by repeated training and team building to little success. At the start of their first missions, Team Guy is sent on some random D-rank mission. They would continue these low-ranked missions for the next 2 weeks. These missions don't challenge the team and they aren't pushed to improve as a result. Meanwhile, Team Kakashi are refused missions until Kakashi deems them ready and able. A couple weeks pass before they're given an emergency meeting to rescue Hanabi Hyuga from some kidnappers. We see some stressed teamwork from Sasuke, but not really from Neji. The kidnappers are untagged shinobi whose appearance does not betray where they came from. Only one of their own is kidnapped alive to be subjected to intense interrogation. Teams Kurenai and Asuma are sent together across borders to investigate the construction of a mighty bridge. This mission takes 2 weeks with its combined travel time. They discover Ringo and Zabuza of the Mist's former 7 swordsmen. After great effort, they defeat Ringo and Zabuza is forced to retreat with his protege Haku. We see a glimpse of the fox from Naruto here when he appears to prey on Naruto's fear and not his anger. Team Guy is eventually sent on a special mission assigned and escorted by Orochimaru to gather a flower for materials. They encounter mysterious ninja who utilize blasts of air and genjutsu to overwhelm them. Guy drops his guard and falls victim to what should otherwise be easily counterable by someone of his level. Only Orochimaru manages to save them from the assault, who chases the assailants away. The Genin arrive back to Konoha at around the same time. After their debriefing, they realize that Team Kakashi was chosen because they're apparently better than the rest. To challenge this opinion, Kiba, Naruto, and Rock Lee duel Sasuke, Shikamaru, and Neji, respectively. Though Team Kakashi wipes the floor with their opponents, they're ultimately caught having unsanctioned duels by their Jonin. As the teams face recoil from their reckless decisions, a border dispute breaks out between Fire and Rock. Mobilized immediately, the teams are all sent to assist at the border. Team Guy is sent to escort a caravan of supplies to several outposts in construction. Team Asuma is sent to one of these outposts to aid in their construction and guard in case any rock ninja attack. Team Kurenai is sent to the border itself to provide relief guard duty for the various Chunin and Jonin teams at the border, allowing them to rest. Team Kakashi is sent to the leader of the border guard with a plan of action from Lady Tsunade. Shortly after arriving, a sudden explosion from behind enemy lines snaps tensions and causes a fight to break out. Though disoriented, Team Kakashi find their way behind enemy lines, while Team Asuma rush to the border to assist and Team Kurenai is forced on the defensive. Eventually, Teams Kakashi and Asuma, plus Sakura, combine behind enemy lines to save an imprisoned Hayate Gecko. They assist in finishing his mission to liberate a grass village. However, at the village they are confronted by an everyman ninja who seems infinitely more capable than them all. He seems to be of the Uzumaki clan, but employs Gentle Fist and brandishes a Sharingan. He also seems to have mastery over all the elemental jutsu. With the sudden arrival of the Sannin, this everyman ninja decides to retreat. Orochimaru proceeds through the land of grass to eradicate any remaining rock ninja. We learn here that Jiraiya has the unique gift of being able to summon Tsunade and Orochimaru at the drop of a hat. Following these disputes, we land on Sasuke's stressful day with an overly excited Uchiha clan who sound like they're on the precipice of attempting to oust Minato. We meet Akane, one of my made-up characters, who is one of the survivors of the Uchiha massacre and only a couple years older than Sasuke. He was the prodigy after Itachi and before Sasuke. He's also a Chunin and quite accomplished in his own right. When Sasuke learns of his clan's increased volatility, he flees to the Hokage's home in a desperate attempt to alert Minato to his clan's plans. But Minato's in a special war meeting with the village's Jonin, and Sasuke has a confrontation with Naruto. Later, Minato and Jiraiya bring Naruto to a safe area to reinforce his seal. In an attempt to keep it from loosening, they occasionally reinforce it. In these moments, Minato learns from Naruto that the villagers are all quite mean to him. Though doubting at first, Minato decides that he needs to investigate how far the allegations go. Minato's also confronted in his office by a mysterious figure that's hiding his face and telling him to end the war for his own good. Before he finds out anything concrete, the man vanishes and he sends Raido to find him without success. Later, Tenten invites various members of the Konoha 12 to come with her to the training grounds. Naruto comes along and we see firsthand some of the poor treatment he gets from villagers. He also happens upon Jiraiya apparently showing Sasuke how to do the Rasengan. This, of course, infuriates Naruto, but instead of confronting them, Tenten pulls him to keep following to the training grounds. The training grounds have had walls erected around them to keep others out, but the Genin don't take the hint. Scaling the wall, they proceed within and begin training while Tenten shows off her new swords, those that used to belong to Ringo. A weird fog drops that places the entire area under some sort of ninjutsu pretending to be a genjutsu. Hinata's Byakugan is useless as the Genin attempt to navigate their way through the fog. Sasuke finds Hinata while Naruto lands on Sakura. Shikamaru finds Ino, and Chino and Tenten manage to stay together. Within their confusion, a monster emerges from somewhere else and kills the mist ninja that has conjured the fog. No time to figure out what the monster was, the Genin are summarily found by Anbu and escorted from the training grounds while Minato deals with the problems. Finally, the Chunin exams begin after this. Rock Lee accidentally unlocks the first couple of the 8 inner gates the day before the Chunin exams. This leaves him heavily fatigued for the next several days as his body recovers. Asuma confiscates the special kunai from Naruto to force him to be creative and not cowardly. Phase 1 goes oddly, as several ninja disrupt the exams rather than simply trying to cheat. Regardless, it otherwise goes the same as in canon except for Naruto's rousing speech, or lack thereof. Phase 2 has an additional challenge in the Hell Scrolls that each team has to find. Within this forest, we see significant growth for Team Kakashi as they actively try to get over their differences. Team Asuma faces a real challenge, but Naruto finally rises to the occasion with a push of support from his parents. Team Kurenai get by relatively unchallenged, though Sakura observes an oddly tense interchange between Orochimaru and Jiraiya as they deal with an offending rock ninja. Team Guy sees early success and makes it to the tower after Kiba is subjected to the repeating cycles of a Hell Scroll. Team Kakashi also find early success and late failure. Despite defeating 9 total teams, they have the worst luck and fail to find the Heaven Scroll that they desperately need. They literally make it to the tower in the last second as a result. Meanwhile, the Cloud Ninja are announced as having burned through 11 Hell Scrolls, somehow, during their struggle through the forest, and the Sand Ninja are celebrated for making it to the tower in 18 hours, despite being incapacitated early on by Orochimaru. And that about catches us up to current content. These were obviously vast generalizations to refresh people who have already listened to the rewrite. If you're a new listener and you're still here, shame on you. And now things only make a little bit of sense and you're probably super confused. Next episode we'll start with the Shikamaru vs Sakura fight. I don't mean to tease that fight, it just felt like a good time to do a recap. This is also a rather long rewrite. I'm on part 25 and we're only halfway through the Chunin exams. I like how the story has developed so far and really look forward to how the various plots will continue. Naruto is a great series and I want to reiterate for doubters that this is fan fiction. I'm doing all of this because I'm a huge fan of the original series, not because I think I'm any better than Kishimoto. Reimaginings are really fun and I didn't choose the text-to-speech route. Even though I'd be able to deliver the content faster that way, it lacks a personal touch that honestly really rubs me the wrong way. I can't stand listening to those types of videos. And honestly, though I'm still bottom tier in terms of video editing, I'm far better in this rewrite versus my Sakura rewrite, which was just a bunch of screenshots and nothing else ever. It's bound to get better and better little by little as time goes on. If you're still listening, I'll let you in on a little secret. Planning some of these battles is proving harder than I initially thought, so this video was also to buy me some more time. It was necessary, I think, but also mighty convenient to buy me more time. Secret sharing time is over, so I can keep working on that. Stay optimistic because the sky's the limit.